Well, today we're going to dig out the polymer clay and make the dolls some corn on the cob. Stay tuned and see how fun and easy this project is. All right, the first step for our corn on the cob is basically a variation of what we did last week when we made the ears of corn, if you watched that video. And that is, I'm starting with just some original Sculpey. We just need any kind of off-white clay. A pure white clay would probably not look really good in this step because you are going to see the ends of it. And the ends of your corn on the cob are not a pure white. And I'm just rolling out a snake. I've conditioned the clay, which with original Sculpey, because it's a fairly soft clay. It doesn't take much conditioning to get it ready to work. I just had to move it around in my hands a bit. If you haven't worked the polymer clay very much and you don't understand the terms, I do have a Clay 101 playlist on the channel. I will try to remember to put the link to that up in the top corner of the video about now. And that one, I have various videos in there that talk about specifically about different stages of working with clay. So what I'm doing is I've got my gauge here. I'm trying to get this down to about 1/4 of an inch. And that's close enough. It can be a little small, a little big. It doesn't have to be perfect. And it doesn't have to be perfectly even. Because remember, corn on the cob is a natural thing. It's not perfect. It can vary a little bit. Now I do want a fairly a nice straight cut end, because we are assuming that mom or someone, an adult, has cut the ears of corn, cut the ends off, and made nice flat ends on it before they cooked it. And then we're going to cut pieces that are 2 inches long. And I'm going to put those onto my baking surface, one for every ear of corn I'm going to make. And I'm going to bake those at the recommended temperature for my clay for 10 minutes. And then they need to be cooled to room temperature. And at the end of that time, I'll come back and we can start working on the next step. All right, my cob bases are baked and cooled. This is actually the next day because I ran into some problems. My yellow clay, this is the only piece of yellow clay, the only package that I have that is the color I want to use. I'm kind of short on yellow clay right now. And this happens to be a package of Sculpey 3 in yellow. This clay is so soft. I've had a lot of trouble working with it. I decided to go ahead with the project, and I'm going to talk more in the blog post about some of the difficulties I'm having. But if you followed my food making videos on this channel, you know a couple of my hard and fast rules that I use. One being we add translucent clay to our colored clay to make our foods. It's not working in this really soft clay. It's not mixing in correctly, and it's making a texture that will not hold the texture that I want. It's making a clay that it bounces back from texturing. The other rule I have is when I put a raw clay onto a cured clay, I always use a liquid clay. We did that last week in the ears of corn tutorial. Again, I can't do that with this. This stuff basically turned to something about the texture of pudding when I spread a thin layer onto my layer of clay. I have played around with it, and I've gotten my texture to work as best as I can, and we are going to go with it. So I am rolling out yellow clay. Now, if you have yellow Fimo or something like that, follow the normal recommendations, and I'll talk about that in the blog post today, in today's blog post. So be sure and hop over there. But I'm rolling this out just like we did before when we made the other pieces, using craft sticks to make a nice sheet of clay that is a good thickness. Now, take my clay blade and I'm going to cut a straight edge. You can see this is really soft. I wish I had another piece of clay, but I don't. And I don't have time to get to the craft store to get a piece of clay. And we're just going to go with it. I just want to show you, you can, even if you've got clay that is being a problem, you can work with it. Now I am cutting these pieces to be 1 inch by 1 3/4 of an inch. We're cutting these a little smaller than we did some of our other things. I'm only going to cut 2 on camera, and then I will cover the other bases I have over there off camera. I'm running my knife underneath to pull that up off of my tray. I'm going to move this clay out of my way. And I will try to remember to put talk to you in the blog post about some of the issues I had. Okay, so we're just going to wrap this around, and it needs to be cut a little short because when you are doing this part, it's going to stretch out. See, that already stretched out. Now, I have a wire mesh strainer. This is a wire mesh strainer from Dollar Tree, and it's only used for clay. And holding on to the ends of my clay, I am pushing it into the strainer. Now, if you are going to be gluing these down to a plate, you could just push it down on and not roll it all the way around. But there we go. We have texture on our ears of corn. I'll do one more on camera and then I'll do the others off. Once these are on here and textured, bake them according to your clay instructions for 10 minutes and allow them to cool, and then you'll have ears of corn. God, this clay is, I am not happy with this clay I've got, but I wanted to get the project done. I have something else I want to show you guys next week, and I need to get to it. But hold on, because if you try to push here, you're going to put fingerprints. Push down enough that you are getting good texture on your ear of corn. Let's see, where's the camera? Oh, I'm not sure my camera's even picking up the texture. So I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm going to finish up the other 2, and then I'm going to bake them and let them come to room temperature, and then we can look at how they look. All right, these are out of the oven, and they look fantastic. They look like ears of corn. Despite all the issues I had with my clay being so soft, they turned out really nice. It's just that clay did not want to play nicely. And I decided to go ahead and film the video even though I was having the issues, and show you alternate ways to how we normally do this. And be sure and hop over to the blog post. The link's in the description box. And I'm going to talk to you about how I would normally have done this each step of the way, as well as what I did have to do because the clay was not working well. And I apologize if I don't have very many pictures. I think because of my frustration level, I think I forgot to take pictures as I was making, and I don't have any extra stuff left to work with, so I can't just do some for photos. So if you have any ideas that you want to see me film, any foods you want to see me make, any other accessories for the dolls, let me know. I'd be happy to put it on the list of things to make. If you enjoyed the video, be sure and hit that thumbs up button and leave me a comment. If you enjoy my content and haven't subscribed, I encourage you, hit that subscription button and the notification bell so you know when I put up a new video. Thank you very, very much for watching today, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.